everyone, and welcome into a PHNX pregame show. I'm Lindsey Smith, that's Saul Bookman, and that's Espo. And as always, we are brought to you by our friends at the DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Well, guys, we've got the Cavs tonight. The Suns are in Cleveland, looking to go 14 straight. Ironically, the Cavs were the team that this win streak began with.
October 30th.
Yeah.
They've almost gone an entire month without a loss.
Yeah, that's
almost.
Which means I jinxed them.
Way to go, Espo. It's your fault if they lose.
Yep.
So I have been seeing a lot of people, the Spurs game and then tonight's game, call it a trap game. Do you guys have that same vibe or not?
No, not with this team.
No?
I don't think they're they could play down, but large portion of the streak, they've had spots where they play down. So I don't feel like they're at the level yet for a trap game. Like if they lost this game, it'd be like, okay, well, that was unfortunate, but I don't really feel like it's a trap game. Like, even though it's so weird to say that even though they're on a 14-game win streak, they still haven't played like where they were at their peak last year. And it's going to be some time before they get there. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I wouldn't call it a trap game. I think they're going to handle business easily tonight.
I feel like the San Antonio game would have been more of a trap game, that the tail end of a back-to-back, that kind of a situation, an easy letdown. I mean, I guess the argument tonight would be, well, it's the night before Thanksgiving, but these guys aren't going home for Thanksgiving, so there's not really much. I mean, they're looking forward to a hotel Thanksgiving meal tomorrow, so it's not like that's a big deal. I don't think this is a trap game. To Saul's point, if they lose, they lose because the Cavs outplay them, but I don't think this is a real trap in particular.
When I don't think the Cavs will outplay the Suns. I mean, they have been decent this year in comparison to where they were in the past. They're 9-9 on the season, but in their last game against the Suns won 101-92. Now, I was on vacation, but if I recall correctly, there was a little bit of a scare in the fourth, I think, with that one, where the Cavs got it within 5.
Yeah, that was a remote one we did, I believe, where it got a little closer than we thought.
It still felt like a blowout the whole game.
Did it?
Yeah. I mean, I think it was very similar to what happened in that Spurs game the other night, where it never was really in doubt. It did get close towards the end, but you knew the Suns were in control throughout that. So I'm not overly concerned with this game, especially, and we'll get to the injury report, but there's a few key guys out for the Cavs, in particular in their backcourt. So this should be a game where the Suns handle business, likely wire to wire.
This is also another game where people are wanting to know whether or not you are going with the Jay Crowder again.
I'm trying to.
So
it's not on the app yet.
So it's not on the app, but if you do a parlay, it does pop up. And so I have I got a 6-pick parlay going on for tonight. This is my little shout out to you. So Jay Crowder is part of this as the first scorer. Outside of that, I feel really good about this. And Shane, you're in the chat. He's in charge of our bet show. You let me know if I'm on track with this. Cam Johnson over 7.5 points. Phoenix Suns money line. Cam Payne over 8.5 points. DeAndre Ayton over 12.5 points. Chris Paul over 6.5 assists. I feel like those 5 things are fairly safe, nothing too crazy, right? Yeah. I'm not saying Cam Johnson's going to have 20 or something like that. Jay Crowder's instrumental in this because if all 6 hit, I bet $10 I will get over $1,000 back because it is plus 10,000.
Look, I'm looking at, because now that I know this, I have the DraftKings Sportsbook app up. I'm looking at Jay Crowder first score, Suns money line, do the hundy again. I'd get 1,500. I really just want to take Jay. I don't want to have to put the money line in there because you mess with a heater, it becomes, am I just, messing with the basketball gods here? But if this is the way I have to go, that's what I'm going to do. I want people to be part of Crowder's Cash Club, right? I want people to win some money with us here. He's done it, I believe, 3 of the last 4 games. I want to try it. I want to ride again.
Okay. I want to ride too.
I have a question. Long John Silver, he said, nice. I copied and got over $1,100. Does that mean you won?
Yeah.
Like he won.
I think he
on
made the same bet on
Monday.
Yeah.
Monday's game.
I think he made
That's
the same
awesome. I
bet.
love that.
So.
He said he's picking Ayton for first score this game.
Don't mess with the streak, Long John.
I guess we'll find out.
If Jay gets that first bucket, I will be glued to this TV like nobody's business. Every little shot. I'm going to lose it when Cam Johnson
I
gets the
actually
ball.
made a bet for the first time in a long time today because the DraftKings Sportsbook app gave me a 200% odds boost because they were probably like, "Hey, you haven't put any money up lately.
Yep.
Can we entice you to come make some bets over here?" So I went with an easy one though because I'm so nervous about these things.
Come on.
I picked DeAndre in over 11.5 rebounds tonight. But with the odds boost, it pays like I think $50. So I'm not mad at it.
Put it on Jay. Could have got that odds boost and joined the Crowder's Cash Club.
I'm just so nervous.
Crowder's
I'm not good at
Cash
those
Club.
games.
I like that.
Yeah. Yep. Hashtag Crowder's Cash Club. Let us know if you're making the bet. Send us a tweet at PHNX_Suns. Let's see it. Let's all win together here on the show.
I hope you guys win a lot of money tonight. All right, shall we look at our injury report?
Yeah,
for
let's look at the
game?
injury report.
So for the Suns, it's the same as it has been. Frank Dario and Abdul are out. And then for the Cavs, you've got Evan Mobley, Colin Sexton are both out. Darius Garland.
Game time decision.
Yeah, essentially that's what it's going to come down to because there was no word during the pregame pressers whether or not he was going to play.
Yeah.
If Darius Garland doesn't go tonight, this game might be really ugly from the backcourt perspective because Devin Booker and Chris Paul are just going to go crazy.
Well, and with those three out, that's a lot of firepower that you're missing for the Cavs. It really leaves Lauri Markkanen as the guy that has to get it going for the Cavs, or Kevin Love has to, the corpse of Kevin Love has to be reanimated.
You're forgetting about the other Wildcat on that team.
Which one?
That is Dean Wade from Kansas State.
Oh,
I love me some Dean Wade.
I
and
thought
actually,
you were talking U of A.
Shane has actually got him as his lock over 16.5 points tonight.
Points, rebounds, and assists. That's the bet.
16?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
16.5 for points, rebounds, and assists.
I like that.
I thought you meant he had to have 16.5 on each of those.
Total. Yeah,
I was like, that's
total.
that's ballsy, Shade.
I know. He told me I should make that bet, and I was like, I don't know. I'm just so nervous. So I'm going to go with what I know. Okay, we have a few topics we want to discuss on today's show. So let's kind of get through all of the things with the matchup first, and we'll move on to a few of those things. So, Espo, what does Vegas say about tonight's game?
Vegas has the Suns at a 7.5 favorite, and I think this is pretty close in line with what we'll see at the end of the game. It makes sense. It feels about right, and so I think they've got it pretty spot on here tonight. I would take the Suns in that minus 7.5.
And our picks for tonight, let's go ahead and see that so we can share. I picked the Suns by 7, so just right under, I guess, for what Vegas is thinking.
Yeah, I went slightly over at 11. Saul messaged and said by 69. I assume that was a joke, but I went with it anyway.
Yeah, because if they go to 15 straight, it'll be very nice. And 69 is nice.
I thought it had to do with Sexland and Love being on the roster. So I thought
however
maybe,
you want to interpret it, 69 is always a good thing.
And then Gerald picked the Cavs by 375, which is is also the preferred degrees you should cook a turkey at. So there you know.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
learn something new every day. And if you're wondering where Gerald is, he's on his way to Albuquerque right now for a little Thanksgiving family time. But he might join us.
I mean, hey,
this weekend we'll see.
That RV meth lab ain't gonna take care of itself.
He's swimming in Nevada green chili and
I know,
with
right?
a little blue meth on the side. So he's having a good old time in the New Mexico this weekend.
Funny, when I was driving in today, they actually threw out a question saying, "Do you think the Suns will leave Cleveland tonight, or are they going to spend the night in Cleveland and then fly to New York?" And I was
They're
like,
definitely leaving Cleveland tonight.
Nobody's spending
Thanksgiving in Cleveland.
Okay,
or a night in Cleveland for that matter.
Let me just give you some insight here. I think I picked Cleveland as one of my first cities when we ranked worst NBA cities because the hotel in Cleveland, you're staying at the nicest hotel, right? And it was garbage.
It's a Motel 6
It was
in
so
Cleveland.
bad. Like there's no way those guys are voluntarily staying in Cleveland one more night. No chance.
Plus, Thanksgiving in New York.
That'd be way nicer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, who
Absolutely.
wouldn't want to be in New York City if you can't be home, why wouldn't you want to be in one of the best cities in the world?
Yeah.
The food's going to be a little bit better in New York City than Cleveland for Thanksgiving, I'm guessing.
Did you ever spend a Thanksgiving on the road when you traveled?
I did not.
I did. It was not fun.
No, they pick and choose when we could travel back then. We didn't have the carte blanche like you got, Lindsay. It was, hey, when can we hide those guys? We don't want them on the road.
I would still hate them. You're fine. Okay, so let's get into. We've got a couple different topics we want to bring up that kind of popped off in the last 24 or so hours. The first one we're going to look at has to do with Thanksgiving. That's right. We're going to bring up the poll that was on our Twitter account at PHNX_Sons because we all ranked our top 5 Thanksgiving dishes, and I just want it to be known.
Espo's adjusting because he knows
that I won.
know what's coming. Yeah.
I won.
Damn.
This one.
Espo, damn, you got blown out.
Y'all can suck it.
No, hold on a second. Hold on. All this tells me is people love follow Lindsay and hate follow me on social.
You can make all the excuses you want in the world.
Y'all making excuses that it's just because...
First of all, in every single poll, I do believe every single poll, it's either been Lindsay or myself in one or two.
We are people of the people.
Gerald and Espo are in distant third and fourth.
Yeah.
You both can still kiss my ass.
I understand your theory about everybody hate voting against you, but what about Gerald? Gerald also has not been doing very well.
Gerald is a very lovable character.
Yeah. They love him way more than they love you.
All the other beat writers are teaming up against Gerald from the other sites, and they're voting against him.
Oh, my God.
That's what it is.
Oh, my God.
I just need it to be known that I won this Thanksgiving rank and file. Put it out there in the world.
I made the mistake choosing pumpkin pie full well knowing what the hate for pumpkin pie was.
I picked green bean casserole, and you guys told me that was like a death sentence.
Well, it still is.
Still won.
It still is, but your other 3 and the fact that you're Lindsay Smith helped. So.
Oh, come on. No excuses, Espo.
The Lindsay Smith bump.
No excuses. All right, now that we've gotten that one out of the way.
I have the least amount of followers out of all of you guys, and I'm the only one that's not verified on Twitter. So I'm not going to buy that hype.
It literally has nothing to do with the followers.
Zero.
It has everything to do with the better picks.
Yeah, you should read
That's all it is.
You should read my @ messages. It might have something to do with the followers. By the way, Shane, the mustache behind the Mac, isn't here, but decides that his off day, the best thing to do is troll us in the chat.
No, not troll us, troll you.
Oh, well, he'll get you guys at some point, too. He said, one tip I have for these polls, Espo, be better.
Yes.
He's speaking facts right now.
Kind of like your crown placement, Shane. Just be better.
All right. Now that we've
Chris, I vote for Emmy Award winners.
Thanks, Chris. I appreciate the love. Now that we've gotten that one out of the way, we can actually move on to some of the basketball topics that have come out. So the first thing we're going to go into is Mikal Bridges was on JJ Redick's podcast, and he has shared some feelings about the lack of recognition from outside media. So we'll go ahead and roll that clip.
With the way the season ended, do you feel like you're being overlooked as a contender in the West this year?
I guess so. I really don't care about that. That's who are the people that's overlooking us? What is it?
Well, I can tell you this.
Is it reporters?
I can tell you this. I spent about 7 fucking hours at ESPN today, and I don't know that the Suns were brought up in any of my 5 appearances.
If ESPN, Fox Sports, whatever, NBA TV, if them motherfuckers are they the ones lacing up? Are they playing against us? Then I don't give a damn what they think. If they want to come on that court and play against us, then shit, they'd be more than welcome to step on that court with us. But I don't give a damn what people say about me, or what I deserve, or what ranking it should be. Like that shit don't be nothing. Like if I'm ranked 90, ranked 80, like I'm gonna walk on the court like, hey man, make sure when you guard me tonight, hey, I'm ranked 87 on ESPN. Just know that. The dude's like, oh shit, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what the hell they gonna do for me?
I love that Cheshire Cat look he gave, but he's like, you know, man, I'm ranked 83rd.
That was like my favorite, like low subtle diss, because the amount of sarcasm behind that was fantastic. Mike B in the chat mentioned it was badass. I never knew Mikal talked like that. I was so surprised as well that he said that publicly, because I have heard Mikal, he's got a little spicy language here and there, but I've never, this is the first time I've ever heard him use that type of language for the most part. publicly.
It's
And I'm not mad at it at all, but I just think
refreshing.
it was a glimpse into a little bit of his personality more so, and then also maybe a little bit of the feelings he has towards it from not just himself, but as a team and organization, right? Like and this was when they were on a 9-game win streak, and we still haven't seen a whole lot change now that they're on a 13-game win streak.
my biggest takeaway from this is, first of all, in this city specifically, for whatever reason through the history, for the most part, Arizona or Phoenix loves their athletes buttoned up. They don't like, too much expression, because then it gives them the impression that they're bigger and better than the team and all this other. Like, no, it's not like that. I love the fact that he came out and he was just basically saying it the way he would normally say it. And like, yeah, athletes talk like that. That's just, it is what it is. And, Lindsey, I'm just going to say this right now, Mikhail has given us the blueprint. It's okay to drop an F-bomb every now and then.
Yeah, exactly.
What I want to know,
You know what I'm saying, Lindsey?
is that
I've
You know what I'm
said at
saying?
least 2 since we started the show.
F-bombs?
I think so. Maybe
we're gonna have to
not.
send
I don't think
Shane.
so.
Shane in the chat. We need you to spend your Thanksgiving going back and finding out if Lindsey has dropped any F-bombs.
Maybe
So,
not. I don't know.
Do you really think this city hasn't liked outspoken athletes? I mean, Barkley's one of the biggest
He's the
names.
He's one of the only ones, though.
That's fair. I mean, I'll give you that.
I mean, Diana Taurasi.
yeah, DT.
She's not. First of all, because she plays a 32-game season and it's only a 2 or 3 month window in the summer, the eyes aren't on her as much,
That's
and
fair.
she doesn't have as many microphones in front of her all the time, and honestly, she doesn't have the distribution to be able to say those kind of things and have it tracked nationally.
I mean, the live she did with Sue and Megan during quarantine, that went everywhere.
Oh yeah. You know what? I
But-
prefer my athletes to be real. Like, that was what drew me to Barkley as a kid. I love that he said, I'm not a role model. I don't care. This is who I am. Deal with it. And I like that Mikhail's not afraid to do it too. What I want to know is, are we part of those motherfuckers, or are we outside of that group because we're not traditional in the way we handle
I'm
No,
going to say
we're
we're
outside.
outside of
Yeah,
that.
we're
group,
outside
of
for
that
sure.
group. For sure.
Yeah.
Because listen, nowhere else are you going to be able to watch, unless you were watching the JJ Redick podcast live. Nowhere else will you be able to watch a show and have them not bleep out every bad word, right? Like if you watched any local TV or if you listen to the local radio, you don't get that colorful language. You just hear beep, beep, beep. You know what I mean?
Or
Like,
guys are getting fired real quick if they're saying
yeah,
it.
and then B, like, that's literally what we do here on the show. We just tell it like it is. We talk. Like, if you ever see Espo or myself, or well, maybe not Lindsey, behind the scenes, like, this is how we talk. Lindsey's a little more colorful off camera.
Shh. Quit telling my
I
secrets,
know.
Saul. I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
she's
eventually.
vicious like she was the other night.
Yep,
so-
yep.
Well, anyway, so I think the thing with Mikhail is I don't think that his personality before this wasn't real, though. I think
No.
he's got both sides to him a little bit. I think this one was just a topic that might have been a little bit more close to home, where he had more intense feelings towards it, which I am with him 100%. Like, how could you not be talking about a Suns team that at the time when they recorded this podcast, it was right after they had won 9 straight. And then the fact that, if I recall correctly, yesterday, JJ Redick was also on ESPN, and they did talk about the Suns for a little bit on Malik Andrews' show. But it's not like they're covering the Suns as a whole. They're not covering the Suns the same way they're covering the Warriors or all these other teams. And the Suns are right there in that same bucket with them.
But you know why? It literally goes back to the point I just made about Phoenix athletes. There's not one person on this team that's like uber colorful. Like, says Chris Paul has a tendency the most, but just over a longer period of time. But nobody else, DA might have a moment or two, but nobody else like really like is out there. Devin is out there against the refs on the court. That's about as colorful as he ever gets, or if he's talking trash to another player. But after the game, he doesn't call anybody out. He doesn't talk shit to anybody. Like, he's very buttoned up. And that's what I'm saying is, like, the teams that get the most coverage for the most part, they have those personalities. You see them all the time. They'll talk trash, even like the Warriors. When you look at Klay Thompson was hurt all last season, and all he did was talk shit about half the league. Like, that's what happens.
The reason ESPN and places like that don't talk about the Suns is because they like controversy, like you're saying. They want the drama. They can focus on the Lakers and, oh my gosh, this whole thing, they're not working, yada yada. Oh my God. Or they can talk about the Knicks. Oh, why is New York never a great basketball city? Or Kyrie's drama in Brooklyn. You know what the Suns are doing? They're taking care of business. And sometimes they're winning ugly. And they're not going to move the needle there. Stephen A. Smith isn't going to have a super hot take about the Phoenix Suns winning 13 games because there's just not that much to have a super hot take about.
No.
And that's all they care about.
He'll only have a super hot take when they go 1-3. He's like, this is one of the worst teams in basketball and blah, 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 blah. And he absolutely says the run is a fluke and doubles down and all that dumb shit. Like, who cares? Who cares? It's all talk.
But that's what gains attention for
all
the
talk.
national.
It's super frustrating, but hey, that's why you guys got us. So at least there's
so
that.
It works for us. So screw those motherfuckers, as Mikhail would say.
But to wrap this up, I'm just glad that he said it. And I'm glad that JJ gave him the platform to say it because he got a lot of attention from that. That went everywhere today.
I think part of why he was comfortable is because it is JJ Redick.
Right.
It's a former player. It's a guy that understands it. And that disarms guys, especially when they're talking in a longer form.
Well, and I listen to the podcast. They've known each other for a while now. They even spent a good amount of time because right after the bubble, I guess they flew on the same plane, him and Mikal, to New York because JJ was flying there. And then he let Mikal and Ty Jerome, I believe, tag along and hitch a ride and then sent them on their merry ways. So they spent some time talking about things. So that's interesting. So now that we've covered that one, there's one more that popped up. Now, this one is Kendrick Perkins talking about the Lakers. Surprise. But he did bring up the Suns. So let's hear this one.
Can you cut down on the turnovers, Russ, and win basketball games? Can you go out there and lead a team, be the ultimate floor general, and win basketball games? I think when you look at Russ and you look at CP3, that's the difference between the two. CP3, he goes out there and he wins basketball games.
Yeah.
That's not fair to compare Russ to CP3. Russell Westbrook ain't ever going to be CP3. They're just two different animals.
Well, I mean, it is fair to compare them because they have been in the league for quite a while and they've had much success, but it's not fair to compare the two because one is just the consummate team player and understands how to manage a game, whereas the other is very much just
a little more selfish.
Just a different dude. Yeah.
Well, and
just a different dude.
Why did the Lakers think all of a sudden Russ was going to change his stripes? Like he was going to become a guy that all of a sudden was a different kind of player. This is the Russell Westbrook that has always been. It's not surprising. He's just an older version of the guy that he's always been. And what's happening in LA is no shock either. And what's happening in Phoenix shouldn't be a shock at this point either because they've proven it in the bubble, then into last season, in the playoffs, and now this run. There's no fluke here. They're winning at a high mark, and that's just what Monty Williams' Suns teams have done.
So I have a kind of going to tie these two together, right? Because you said like with the mainstream media, right? They want the drama of the NBA. They want to talk about those things, and then we brought up the Lakers within that topic. But even when the Lakers are winning, though, there's no drama for the most part. They still get the spotlight. So it's that ESPN can talk about winning teams without drama. So what is the difference? Is it just marketplaces? Is it just faces? Is it just like whatever?
Typically, when you're talking about the Lakers, just in the history of the game, they typically have like one or two dynamic superstars in the game on that team.
I mean,
okay. When you're talking about the Phoenix Suns, CP3, superstar. Devin Booker, borderline superstar in the national perspective. Here locally, obviously, we think he's a superstar. He's one of the best guards in the game, period. But people just don't give him the respect that he deserves nationally. And that's because he doesn't get a lot of the attention with these high-profile games or matchups or the focus on Devin Booker. And CP3 is trying to bring a little bit of that to him. It's still tough. But the Lakers, like LeBron, one of the greatest of all time. Kobe, one of the greatest of all time. Shaq, one of the greatest of all time. Like they have GOATs that are coming through there all the time. And if they don't draft them, they go out and get them in free agency. And that's just something that the Suns haven't done for the most part.
That's fair. I wonder if we've only got a few minutes left here before we got to go watch the game, but I wonder if these two things, having come out within the same 24-hour span, will compel bigger media entities to start talking about the Suns or not.
No, I mean, they'll talk about McHale's clip maybe, but that'll be it. They're not going to change. Just like Russ isn't going to change his game for the Lakers, the national media isn't going to change the way that they talk about things. The Suns will be talked about when it comes playoff time or when they're in the finals again.
She better tweet
dude,
about
that's
it.
true. That's
if
absolutely.
Kendall Jenner does not tweet
Yeah.
out multiple times to vote for Devin, I'm going to be so mad.
Oh, yeah.
Phoenix Suns 22's got.
Hey, Devin's definitely going to be a starter in the All-Star game this year.
He better.
I just don't. No, I don't think it's gonna
That,
happen.
right.
that Kendall power, baby. Let's
Yeah,
go.
If she's
Let's
gonna
get
use
it.
it
Go, Kendall.
for that.
We need all the Jenner Kardashian fan base to pull up and help us vote in our guy.
Brian, it's Jay Crowder's getting the first bucket.
Let's
Join
see.
the Crowder Cash Club.
Let's see if it's on here yet.
I don't
All
care.
right.
Do the parlay if you need to. Jay Crowder first bucket. Suns win on the money line. Do it.
The last thing I want to bring up is, where did it go?
I don't know
did this
where it
tweet
went.
go? There was
Where
a
did it
comment
go?
in here, and
Where did it
so
go?
now I can't see. But somebody said, low key, basically. Oh, here we go. Patrick, watching the pregame warm ups on League Pass, and I gotta say, I miss Ricky Rubio. I just will give a shout out to Ricky Rubio. He was a solid dude. Like, he
Yeah.
did a lot behind the scenes, and he also helped us on the trajectory of turning these things around. So you got to give a nod to Ricky for sure.
He sacrificed himself so we could have CP3. So we'll always appreciate Ricky Rubio for reminding us that NBA level point guard play was something that could still happen in Phoenix.
Blessings.
I love this as if it was Ricky Rubio's decision to get traded.
Ricky said
He sacrificed himself for the good of
He
the team.
volunteered as
He-
tribute.
That's
He
not,
called James Jones and he
that's
said,
not how it worked
I know
out.
you
Okay.
guys will be better with CP3.
Yeah.
I will accept this
Oh.
trade on behalf of all the
He was
Phoenix.
also very sad that he got traded.
I
and,
know.
and a little despondent about it.
Hey.
So
And he has
Build-
gorgeous hair, so
Build
he's
a
gonna
statue
be,
for Ricky.
He will always go down as one of the best hair men, whatever, best hairstyles, best hair
Hairman,
things.
yes, best
in
hairman.
the Suns' history. And with that, be sure to tune back in right
no
after
keys?
the game.
I can't get my
Oh,
keys.
sorry, Espo. I
Let's-
didn't
let's
realize
go
you
to
had
the
keys
keys.
today.
two
No.
We have 2
minutes. Let's
minutes left.
go.
No sacks, possibly no land equals no scoring for Cleveland.
I'm sorry, I almost denied you that.
All right. Give them the bird. Let's just let Cleveland start their Thanksgiving celebration early. Get this one done quick. And join the Crowder's Cash Club. That's key number 3. Let Jay make that first basket. There you go, Lindsay. Sorry.
I'm really sorry. I almost took that away from
yeah.
you. Those were great keys, Espo. I'm glad that you got those in. With that, you can follow us, the show, at PHNX_Suns on Twitter. And don't forget, we will meet you right back here after the game for our PHNX Suns post-game show. So come right on back. And until then, we'll see you later.